Today for Maker Monday, we are going to make Earth Day reusable crayons. So before we even get started with the materials list, ask an adult to help you preheat the oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we can gather the materials. You will need a muffin tin. It can be a large one like I have here or a small one. You'll also want a pair of scissors and some crayons. So you'll want some in white, green, and blue. And if they're broken, that's fine. You can use those too. The idea here is that we're using crayons that you're almost done with and we're making them into something new. So now that you've got your crayons in green and blue and white, we're going to take a moment to peel off the paper wrappers on them. Okay, that might take a few minutes to do. So you've got the wrapper, you're gonna peel it off and keep going like that. So I've already done that and I've got a few crayons here that I've used. Once the wrappers are peeled off, you'll want to cut some pieces of the crayon. They can be different sizes. So I'm going to cut a few pieces of this white one here to get me started. And I've got a few other pieces here. I put it on paper towel just because it was making a little bit of a mess with the shavings, but they're easy to clean up. So I can set my scissors aside. So now we're going to grab our muffin tin and we're going to make our earth. I would suggest starting with a few of the white pieces at the bottom, and you'll see why once it dries. So I'm going to add maybe just 2 or 3 little pieces. And then you can start adding your blue and green pieces too. The more pieces you add, the thicker your reusable crayon will be. So keep adding. And you'll notice something really cool happen when you put it in the oven. Do you have any ideas what's going to happen? Almost used all my pieces. So I filled mine up almost halfway, not quite. Okay. There we go. I think it's ready to go in the oven. Don't forget to ask an adult to help with this step. We are going to put our crayons in the oven. And remember, we preheated this to 250 degrees Fahrenheit before we got started. So we're going to leave that in there for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll check back and see what happens. So I baked my crayon for 15 minutes and it was a little bit too much, I think. I'd actually do a few minutes less. So keep an eye on it as you go along. Once you've removed it from the oven, you can leave it on a cooling rack for a few minutes and then put it in the fridge for about half an hour. Don't forget to use your oven mitt and to ask for parents to help you. So I'm gonna put that down here. All I'm going to do, now that it's cooled, is flip it over and give it a gentle tap to get the crayon out of the muffin tin, and let's see what our creation looks like. So we'll flip it over, give it a light tap, and there we have our earth. And we made that just using crayons. Pretty cool, isn't it? So you can experiment with different mixtures. Maybe I'll use a little bit more blue next time and a little bit less green. But I like how this turned out. And now I can go use this crayon to draw a beautiful picture. We hope you enjoyed our tutorial on how to make reusable crayons and turn it into an earth. We'll see you next week for another Maker Monday.